All right. Well, by now I'm assuming you've watched the video and you realize that the packeting is unfortunately not happening. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Me and Jose had a long conversation. We've actually talked about this a little bit here and there. We came to the idea that it just didn't make sense. We want to explain to you why. I think you're probably sitting there and you're like, you guys have pack saved. You're both streaming. Like, you're here and the team of the year is here. Like, why not just do it? So we wanted to get together and explain to you why it didn't make sense for us in actual depth to not do the packeting. So
Exactly.
Jose, would you like to dive in a little bit too?
That I shall. So, first of all, one of the biggest reasons, obviously, is that I have not been consistently streaming. I've had some family issues. I've been very public about it, just in the interest of giving you guys an explanation. My dad's been sick with cancer for the last year, and quite simply, I haven't been streaming consistently. I haven't been online consistently because I've had other priorities that, of course, I hope you guys understand. What that means is that when it came time for the packeting, I wasn't even playing FIFA. And so these conversations got delayed to the point where when SLATER and I did come to chat about this, it was after the Christmas holidays. And we realized that there was a lack of time for the things that we want to do with the packeting. Something that's so close to us deserves attention, deserves time and build up, because we don't want to just open packs for the sake of it and call it something
Yeah,
that we've set such a high standard for.
I think we've all watched a ton of movies that like they make another one, basically the entire new, all the new Star Wars movies that they
Yep.
just kind of like make to make, and like we kind of both agree that like it would not be what we would want it to be, especially if it's gonna be the finale. And this does not mean that like it's the end forever. It's just right now it just doesn't make sense. And I think one thing I want to say too is like even though Jose is taking like a brunt of the like why it's not happening like he was true. I will say Jose walked into that Discord call and was like, I'm ready to do it. And I think it was one of those, and that just shows like the competitor and why this was so fun. Like, I mean, the only way this works is if there's just two guys that are, we adore this thing. It's our baby. Like, like the fact that it means as much to you guys as it does to us has been like the best, and that you guys have really enjoyed watching this. But we were like, we could have built this up so crazy. Ideally, we would have had like promos working out the whole way, building up the anticipation. We would have been promoting this on a bunch of socials to help grow the packeting to even bigger heights. We would have been potentially, I know we joke about it a lot, but actually making merch for the packet. Like, there could have been so many things that I think both of us would have wanted to explore to make this what we know it should be. And rather than just like jump in on a stream and just saying, yes, screw it, we have 180 packs each, like let's just do it. It was like, let's not make it just to make it. And I think when we both kind of came to that reality, it was like, it just doesn't make sense to do it, even though we want to, even though we both love doing it, even though you guys want to see it, we don't want to make something just to make it.
Exactly. And like SLATER said, I went in there ready to say, you know what, whatever. If I don't sleep this month, that's okay. I want to make it happen. And
Because you're a dog.
I mean,
You
it's what
always
we
been a
do,
dog.
it's
Yeah, you're a
literally
dog.
what the packeting is. I mean, for God's sake, like I know I opened over 1,000 packs last year and you opened more than I did. And that caused me to like get 3 hours of sleep from like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then go to a full day of work. That's just what the packeting is. That's why we love it too. And as you guys have seen, we've done trailers in the past. I like to say we're both very creative content creators, and to have a packeting without I try, exactly, to have a packeting without our 100% effort isn't right, not just to y'all, not just to us, but to the idea of the packeting and the potential that we both see in it.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean it's the end. I think that's like the big thing that we want you to take away. If you're still chatting, hanging with us, like, this does not mean it's the end. Like, it doesn't mean that this will never. It may be, but it doesn't mean it is the end for sure. What I did want to say, me and Jose came to the idea, like, we definitely want to get on a Discord call during the team of the year while we're both opening packs over the course of that like kind of big weekend. We're both gonna be streaming. We're both gonna be opening packs. We want to at least give you some feel of what it's like to be hanging out with us on the pack, like during the team of the year, which I think we've all become accustomed to just being our like normal.
Yep.
Our norm, like at this point, because we've done this for so many years in a row. So we will be hanging out, we will be chatting. It just won't be the competition that you kind of know it to be. And that way, at least we're still having fun together. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question. Is it the end? No, we don't. We have not said that this is the end, the swan song of the packeting. Ideally, we've talked about a team of the season thing, which I don't know how realistic this. Jose's not a big team of the season guy, and I totally get it. It definitely isn't the team of the year. But we've talked about like, is that something that we can maybe explore down the road, or flat out next year, depending on where we are with our lives, you know, doesn't make sense. So
Yep.
it isn't necessarily the end. It's just not the right time for us to wrap this thing up just yet.
Exactly. Every trilogy deserves the appropriate send off, and if we're not gonna get the appropriate send off, it's sometimes best to leave on a high. But like Slater perfectly said, that doesn't mean it's the end. We could have a Packening 2.5 with Team of the Season. You never know. If y'all have ideas,
Hey,
let
that's
us know.
Title in the work. Title, I like that a little bit.
But yeah, this is, if anything, a celebration. That's what this Team of the Year is going to be, because we've built up these two communities that are so passionate about what's really just two, one guy in his mid-20s, one guy about to retire. Just having fun.
It's not a huge gap, man. I don't know if I'm the age guy for you guys. It's not a big gap.
It's not a big gap. It's not a big gap. But this is just a passion project, and we want to treat it as such. So thank you guys for understanding. We wanted to leave this off on a positive and share our favorite packeting moment or moments. And I'll let you go first, because I'm having trouble bringing it down to one.
I have definitely my favorite moment. I mean, it wasn't necessarily, I think, like, the reality of, like, the whole packeting is, like, it's this multi-day journey. So to, like, I think it'd be a very easy thing to say, like, oh, but, like, when I won my version, like, my year of the packeting, like, that would have been like, the F Bobby, like, Genesis to me is, like, the pinnacle of what is the packeting. Like, he comes over and talks trash, which is totally normal and, like, obviously, like, realistic because of what we're doing, and immediately becomes just this heel that my entire community just, like, through our hate for Bobby and the creation of the F Bobby emote, like, honestly awoke me, like, to try and will myself in this community, like, in our team to the victory that we ended up getting. So for me, like, that was, like, one of those, like, pivotal moments in the 50 plus hours streamed that totally, in my way, turned the tide.
Amazing.
To try and keep me motivated. So for me, the F Bobby, which is still an emote, and Bobby's obviously, we love, me and you both.
I still
Bobby.
get it in my chat. I still see F Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just one of those, like, small moments that became, like, meant so much more, that I absolutely adored from last year.
Best part about this is now I can blame Bobby for the loss last year.
It was always his fault. It was always Bobby's fault. Yeah.
So I'll just bring up a few quick ones. First, the fact that I packed 4 Team of the Years last year and you packed 1, and you ended up being the victor. It caused a lot of controversy, and it still is a controversial subject. Tread lightly in my chat. But
I mean, it is realistic that I could understand if I was the shoe on the other foot, and if I had lost, I would have that same. And be like, what the hell?
Well, so that brings me up to what I think is my favorite moment. And like you said, it's super easy to say it's just when we won our respective year, but it's the circumstances around how I won it. The fact that you hadn't gotten your Team of the Year, and I got my Kimmich on, like, the first full day of the grind, and it really became an emotional hurdle to just see you get your moment, your redemption, and it never coming. It just felt so tragic. But also seeing both communities come together, I think that's basically what the packeting is. So it was a bittersweet victory that year, but it was perfect.
It was great. I mean, I waking up the day 2 and you're up like 180 points, and the internet, I had saved a bunch of I saved every single trash tweet that people had sent, like, it's already Pack Kings, Jose, and I'd saved them all, and then I'd made a video that day celebrating if I had won. I could play if I had won the packeting with all the tweets posted in, like, a thing, and then call.
Oh no, what happened?
Oh, you I lost like 130 points, but I had made, like, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna lose this, and then I got dunked on for the entirety of the first packeting. So
hey guys, in the video, I'm sorry if that lagged. I just had some lag, so I'm sorry, but we got all the story. Was that when you realized that, like, the packeting was something serious? When I had a massive lead?
Yeah, I think, like, well, it was the first time we'd ever done it. I mean, we'd never done it, and it was like, what is this gonna end up looking like? And I had done that, like, footballer pack opening and got, like, absolutely, torpedoed with Kyle and Walt. Like, I was drunk and hungover, and I was like, all right, like, whatever. I'll do it on the weekend and I'll beat Jose. Like, that was I was like, there's no way I, like, lose. Was my thought process. And then the next day, I think, was like a 16 and a half hour stream, and I had, like, You went and even streamed that, like, I had streamed for like 7 hours after you'd finished, and I had gained like 20, like it was like nothing had happened. And I was like, oh my God, like I might actually really lose this. And that's like when I realized like how, yeah, like what it meant and how serious it was, and like how me taking a day off was like, I basically killed any chance I had. So,
Yeah.
and then that grew. What I think round two was obviously a blast. We both were swinging like heavyweights the entire time.
So good, so good. I think when I realized it was a serious thing was actually probably halfway through the pack save for the first year, and we were like streaming at the same time, and we were just hanging out on your stream, like watching yours, and you started talking so much smack, and you knew I was in there. I forget how, but I'm like, oh my God, he's taking it serious. Like the shit talking is here. Like I gotta turn it up, and I think that's what instigated me to just do those long streams, because we've put in some hours.
My pride took such a big hit when I lost the packeting the first year. I mean, I really thought to myself, like, there's no way he can, like, there's no way he could beat me. Like, that really was not like, it wasn't in terms of like, I think I was just so cocky. It wasn't like me, like, saying that you weren't aware. It was like, there's no way anyone's gonna, like, out pack luck me and out open pack. Like, there's no way. And he did. And I was like, I was like, what just happened? Kind of got woken up by that like absolute right hook, and then we had round two, and it was a blast. But yeah,
fantastic.
the best part of my streaming journey ever has been the packeting, for sure.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And obviously it's thanks to the people who are watching this video, and you know, I think I can safely speak for both of us when I say thank you so much for not just tuning into this, but being part of the communities, because it really is one big family, and super grateful to be a part of it. And even if the packaging's not happening this year, we're still going to be opening packs together, and we're both going to pack a team of the year this year, right?
I mean, if I don't, I might break something in my house, because I know you will. There's no question. I know
there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee.
No, I know you'll pack one. I pray that I have a little bit more luck than the previous two. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks if you've watched this long. It just shows how dedicated you are to this like thing that we created. So thank you guys for being. You guys are what make it what it is. If there wasn't an audience or people that bought into it, it would never have been, I think, what we appreciate it to be. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. It's not goodbye, but maybe just, you know, see you later type of vibe. So thank you guys for watching us, and hopefully we can have the finale that this deserves. Even if we don't, it was still great that we did it to begin with. So
couldn't have said it any better myself. I'm ruining it by talking. See you later.